Hello and good afternoon. Welcome back to the World Centre of Racing of Daytona. This is the first of two practice sessions. And I am a commentator as usual, just fresh off a couple of days from that epic Bud shootout race. And we're going to be seeing 28 cars in this 15-minute practice session. The first batch of cars, and then we're going to see the second batch of cars in the second practice session. So first out is going to be Kyle Petty for Petty Enterprises in car number 45. So what I will talk about is how the format will work. As we'll see, Kyle Petty is the first to come out and do some laps. So we'll basically talk about how you work your way into the 500. So it's basically, we have two Gateway Dual races. The only two people that knows that they're going to be starting is either on the pole or the outside pole. My headset just fell there. I do apologise about that noise. Anyway, Kyle Petty makes his way through. Yeah, so the pole sitter and the outside pole sitter will know where they're going to be starting for the 500. They're going to be safe no matter what. And it's just a case of who will be in the top 15. If you are in the top 15 in both Gateway Dual races, yous are locked in. But this is a bit of a rule for this one, is that, he's just passed his teammate Jeff Green there in that 43 car, that practice and your qualifying time is going to be paramount because it's going to be an average time. So it's your average fastest lap that you've did in your practice session, and your 2-lap qualifying as well. And if you've got one of the top, like the quicker times average-wise, then you're pretty much good to be in the show. So there'll be like 12 spaces for that as well. No champions provisional, no anything like that. It's either you get yourself in the top 15 for the Thursday's Gateway Dual races, and if you don't, then you're going to have to rely on your average time from your fastest practice session and your qualifying lap as well. Anyway, Kyle Petty is the first to cross the line. 47.5 for him. Obviously, the fastest out on track because he was the first one out. Let's go through some of the drivers in this session. So there you can see Kyle Petty. Rusty Wallace, we saw him in the Bud shootout. There goes Travis Quapple, his teammate. He's just went out there too. So too is Kurt Busch. You've seen him. Nice gaggle of cars right here. Jeff Green, the second driver for Petty Enterprises, closely followed by Elliott Sadler, who was on the outside pole for last year's Daytona 500. Next up, let's change the camera view. Then you got yourself Randy LaJoy in the 64. This is for Front Row Motorsports. And there is Dave Blaney, the driver for Richard Childress. Joe Nemechek, driving the 01 Army car. Fifth fastest for him at the moment, 47.192. 11 minutes, 35 seconds left on the clock. Here's one of the rookies that you should be looking out for. Kyle Busch, not Kurt Busch, but Kyle Busch, driving for Hendrick Motorsports. He's just went down to 9th place now, 46.97. Behind him is Kenny Wallace. This is for Michael Waltrip Racing, just a one-off deal for that car. Boris said, one of 3 drivers in that team. Scott Riggs and Nemechek we've already seen. I think Scott Riggs is in this qualifying session. I'm not too sure. He might be in there qualifying too. Practice too, sorry. Dale Jarrett. Saw him in the Bud shootout. Quite a quiet race for him, for Dale. Never really led a lap, it seemed, though, as well. But he's got Kevin Harvick and Bobby Labonte too. Bobby goes 7th quickest with that time of a 46.534. Basically, if you get yourself in a group of cars, you're going to be fast anyways. Kevin Harvick, 46.456 for the Bud shootout outside pole. Stuart Kirby, 46.276 there for Stuart Kirby in the 51 machine. That's pretty interesting there. Fast car he's got already. Devon Hart Jr., 45.977. And there's Jason Leffler just trying to get by the 8 machine. Bobby Hamilton Jr. Oh, there's a good gaggle of cars right here. So these cars are going to be quick. Casey Kane in his second year, followed by Casey Mears, who is trying to make his third attempt in the Daytona 500. And there is Bill Elliott. That car has been successfully repaired from the accident that he had in the Bud shootout. And let's see what he does. He comes across the line 45.977, puts him in 10th place. And there's Jeff Gordon, who was also involved in that second wreck in the Bud Shootout. He's 15th, 46.326. But they'll go faster. Under 10 minutes to go. Here's John Andretti, 7th fastest for him. Just been passed by Greg Biffle, who currently holds the fastest time, 45.717. There's Ken Schrader for BAM Racing, side by side with the surprise driver in last year's Daytona 500, Scott Wimmer. And there's the Bud Shootout winner there, Tony Stewart, down in 27th place. So he needs some help. He needs some drafting help here. Travis Koppel is 19th, Kurt Busch, and we're back now to, I think we're back together there, Rossi Wallace 26th. So let's have a look at these drivers then on the move. Elliott Sadler, Jeff Green, Nemechek, Blaney and Randy LaJoie. They'll be quicker and they'll be catching up to the guys ahead. So hopefully, let's see what they could do here then. Elliott Sadler goes better, but not that quick enough, obviously because he's on the outside lane. Nemechek looking to the inside, and he's third fastest, 45.537 for Joe Nemechek. And what about Randy LaJoie? 45.631. That's fourth place for Randy. The qualifying order will be determined by where you are in the overall lineup, because of course there's 56 cars trying to attempt to get into the 42 spots. So whoever is the slowest in terms of practice times, they're going to start first. And then whoever was second slowest, Kurt Busch is pulling at the pits, as well as Randy LaJoie. So whoever was second slowest is going to start second in the qualifying up until whoever was the fastest time in practice will be last in for the qualifying before the Gatorade Joes. There's a look then of 3 Chevrolets going 3 abreast. And we're down to 7.5 minutes in. So halfway through this first practice session. Just looking at some of the other guys here. Tony Stewart, the winner of the Bud Shootout, he is the slowest of the lot. And that's not good, considering, like I was saying, you know, you've got to have yourself a very quick practice time for basically making your chances quite good to make it into the main event. And he has got the slowest time of them all. That's basically because he's by himself. These lot are catching up, though, to Travis Koppel, and they will hopefully will catch up to Tony Stewart. So Tony will still have at least a bit of time. Jeff Green, 8th fastest. Elliott Sadler now 5th fastest now, 45.538. Dave Blaney, 6th fastest. Rusty Wallace now 21st fastest. But he'll get even more quicker now. Oh, trainer cars here. Out goes Kyle Petty. And there is Bobby Labonte, followed by Stuart Kirby. You can't see him just about. There he is there in the 51, and Dale Jarrett. And believe it or not, Stuart Kirby has the fastest time. Well, this is a surprise. The 51 of Stuart Kirby is the fastest man in practice 1. And he pulls off into the pits. Well, that's actually quite impressive there. Casey Kane's also into the pits, probably putting a new fresh set of tyres on him. Hopefully try and find a pack of cars here. Here's a couple of cars here. Bobby Hamilton Jr., 16th quickest there for him. 6 minutes to go. Doesn't improve his time. Casey Mears and Bill Elliott. Yeah, putting on some new tyres there is Boris. Biffle and John Andretti still going side by side. Let's see if Tony Stewart is still on his lonesome. I wonder if the pack of cars. Yep, they've caught up. Yep, they've caught up to Travis Koppel. So it's not going to be long. Oh, this could be a bit dangerous here. Randy LaJoie's coming out. Oh, hope everyone has just avoided them. Oh, Rusty just had to ease out the throttle just a teensy bit. But they are going to slowly catch up now to Tony Stewart. So Tony is going to have some help, and hopefully he will improve that time that he is currently the slowest guy on the track. There he is. Best lap of a 47.061. That's probably about 1.7 seconds, probably 1.5 seconds slower than the guy set by Stuart Kirby, I mean, that's bizarre, like really bizarre. The 51 machine, wow, unbelievable. Travis Coppo improves to 20th, 45.974. Less than 5 minutes to go now. Joe Nemechek is 4th fastest. Jeff Green is 10th quickest. Elliott Sadler is 5th quickest. And now they're all bunched up in a line. Nearly touching 200 miles an hour. Dave Blaney 6th quickest. And Rusty Wallace is 7th fastest now. And that is what it is. If you get yourself in a big pack of cars, you're going to go quicker. If you're by yourself, like what Tony Stewart is, it's not going to help you. Kurt Busch, 22nd place. Kyle Busch, 13th, sorry. Dale Jarrett, 14th. Bobby Labonte, 9th quickest there for him. And there's Kyle Petty, the first guy we saw out. He's strangling in 26th. Jason Leffler, 26th. And pulls into the pit lane. Stuart Kirby's now 2nd quickest. So who is beating them? It might have been the big pack of cars. Yep, and it is this guy, Rusty Wallace. And now they have caught up to Tony Stewart. So Tony is going to be quick. Unless if he pulls into the pit lane and fudge it up, which he probably won't be now because he's on the outside line. So Rod Stewart's time is going to go improving. Let's see what Jeff Gordon is up to. Battling there with Scott Wimmer, Kevin Harvick, and Ken Schrader. Currently 22nd quickest is Jeff Gordon, so car's not really dialed in, but he is in with a group. So hopefully he will be a lot more quicker than what he should be. In fact, there's the whole pack behind him. Less than 3 minutes to go now. As we look now at Boris Said, 16th quickest for him. He's only just come out of the pit lane. Greg Biffle and Casey Kane are now working together, trying to get themselves a bit quicker. As John Andretti just pulls out. Casey Mears now has gone 5th quickest now. Casey Mears for Chip Ganassi. 7th place for Bobby Hamilton Jr. And Bill Elliott rolling back the years. 3rd fastest for him. Right, let's have a look then at the Bud Shootout winner then, Tony Stewart. Let's see, he's improving. 46.033. That's fast enough for 24th place. Now we're catching up to the slow John Andretti here as we're coming up now with about 2 minutes to go until the end of practice 1 for these guys. Oh, is this going to hamper him? Because John Andretti, this could hamper Elliott Sadler. This could hamper a few of them. Oh, they're putting John Andretti into the middle. Oh no, maybe out high. 46.685 puts him 13th place. That's much more like it now from Tony. I'm just checking to see if Rusty Wallace still has the fastest time. He does. 45.303. That's just about what, 195 miles an hour, something like that. I don't know, like off the top of my head of the calculations of how you do it. Anyways, Dave Blaney 8th quickest. Elliott Sadler 4th quickest. We've lost Jeff Gordon out of this group. He must have pulled into the pits. And that's actually quite a concern, actually, for Jeff Gordon. So if his practice time is not good, then he's probably going to have to rely on a very fast qualifying. Or if that's, or push comes to shove, he's going to have to do something in the Gatorade Duels, whatever he will start in. Whoever finishes in the odd even number for the qualifying, in fact, there he goes out of the pits right now. Whoever's in the odd positions after qualifying, after all 56 have done their qualifying, they will be in heat number 1. And for the ones that are in the even numbers, like 2nd, 4th, 6th, they're going to be in heat number 2. And with 30 seconds to go, let's see some of the other drivers. Kenny Wallace and Kyle Busch. Bobby Labonte is 10th quickest. Dale Jarrett 17th. Out goes Jeff Gordon, 25th fastest for him. And there's only 19 seconds left to go as Kyle Petty has got the slowest time of them all. But he's not going to have time to do another lap, you see. Stuart Kirby, like I said, Kirby did have the fastest time, but he's up to 2nd place. I think someone else is coming into the pits as the first practice session is over. So these laps will count. Any improvement for Kirby? No, his times is done actually. So there we go. Greg Biffle, does his last lap count? It does, but not quick enough. Scott Wimmer, his time was better. Ken Strader and Kevin Harvick, 24th place for him. Tony Stewart, he's just crossed the line. There's a look then at Elliott Sadler. So we'll push the done button here because time remaining says 23 seconds. So we'll pop, we'll pause it right there. So we'll show you the times then. So, wow, Rusty Wallace by a full 10th of a second is the fastest man in practice one, followed by Stuart Kirby, Bill Elliott, Elliott Sadler, Casey Mears, Joe Nemechek, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Dave Blaney, Randy LaJoy, Bobby Labonte. Really good surprises there to see Stuart Kirby and Randy LaJoy there being in the top 10 there. Some of the underfielded teams there in the top 10. Jeff Green, Casey Keane, Tony Stewart, Travis Koppel, Greg Biffle, John Andretti, Darren Hart Jr., 17th. He's not going to be too chuffed with that. Ken Schrader, Kyle Busch, Jason Leffler, Dale Jarrett, Scott Wimmer, Boris Said, Kevin Harvick, Kenny Wallace, Jeff Gordon, the third slowest time in practice number one. So he's got a lot of work in it to do, even though he's only 6 tenths slower. Kurt Busch even worse, and Kyle Petty rounding out the 28 car practice one session. So that is the end of practice one. We will just get going for a couple of seconds time for practice number two. Welcome back then to practice number two. Looks like the sky's looking a bit more brighter for the second practice for the running of the Daytona 500. That will be happening on Sunday. Out goes the 1990 Daytona 500 champion Derek Cope, as Mike Joy always used to call him. Before we actually see these cars go out on the track, here is how practice one looked like. Rusty Wallace, 45.303. That is the time to beat for these guys in practice two. Look at that, Stuart Kirby, second place. And also look at Randy LaJoy down in 9th place. So that's your top 10. You can literally see there Wallace, Kirby, Elliott Sadler, Mears, Nemechek, Bobby Hamilton, Dave Blaney, Randy LaJoy, and Bobby Labonte. That is your top 10. As we will get to practice two underway, as we have got 14 minutes to go as usual. Yep, just every practice session is 15 minutes. And this is the second lot of these cars, and it's going to be led by Derek Cope. And he comes across then to start his first timed lap. A few more cars are making their way out onto the track. Now that's Mike Bliss in the zero, in the net zero. That is a 2004 ran car. He tried the 2005 one, but just wasn't liking it. So they've opted to go for the 2004 model. Only because I prefer the 2004 paint scheme over than the 2005 one, just all plain black. Anyway, Derek Cope will cross the line. And he will set a time of 47.171. That obviously will probably might be beaten. There's Mike Wallace coming out onto the track, as well as Jerry Robertson. There he is there for Furniture Row Racing. And there's Ricky Rudd, got that car repaired and racing against Jimmy Johnson. Robbie Gordon. Beautiful looking paint scheme on that one. Driving for his own team now. Left Richard Childress to have his own team. There he is there. He's just doing his first time lap, just running there by himself. I am actually a real fan of this livery. It looks quite smart, to be fair. It really does. Anyway, let's see what Robbie does then as he comes across the line. And his time lap is a 47.314. Only puts him in 15th place. There is Jerry Robertson. Mark Martin in the Viagra car, 47.253. Puts himself in 14th place. Mike Wallace doing his first time lap. Matt Kenseth in 13th, Ryan Newman 14th. Got some free wide activity going on there between three Chevy drivers. Jeff Burton on the inside, Brian Vickers in the middle, and Scott Riggs on the outside. Vickers yet second quickest, because this man, Jeff Burton, is on the pole. Well, on the pole, what am I saying? It's the fastest in practice too, 45.407, which is not far off Rusty Wallace's time, and currently is overall second quickest, because mine Stuart Kirby did a 45.422, so he's 15 thousandths of a second quicker than Stuart Kirby. Let's see what Scott Riggs can do there. 45.936 for Scott Riggs, and he is 3 tenths slower on that lap. Michael Waltrip does a 47.299, puts him in P25 at the minute. Morgan Shepherd, 46.419 for him. Sterling Marlin. Hermie Sadler for Peak Fitness, followed by Kevin LePage, who's third quickest in that nice looking paint scheme. 45.654 for him. And behind him is Jamie McMurray, and he is 19th quickest, 46.507. But looks like he will improve, and he's actually catching up to his teammate. Got some more gaggle of cars behind there. Martin Truex Jr., 15th fastest for him at the minute, as we're coming down to 10 minutes to go. There's Chad Chaffin, 8th quickest. His teammate was 9th quickest. Randy LaJoy, 45.972. What time did Randy do? I'm looking back here on my sheets of paper. Randy did a 45.631, so he's only 3 tenths slower than that. Oh, he actually improves now, 45.699. Yep, he's still 600 slower than his teammate that he set in practice one. But he goes 5th fastest now. Derek Cope, 2nd place now, 45.409. And there's Mike Skinner in car 23, 46.076 for him. Stanton Barrett and Mike Bliss battling together. Stanton's 20th, Mike Bliss is 18th. Mr. Excitement himself, Jimmy Spencer, in car number 50. Racing for Arnold Motorsports, trying to attempt yet another Daytona 500 for him. Famously been knocked out of it in 2002. Johnny Sauter, 27th fastest. Got some more free wide going on there. Yeah, that's Rod Johnson now. Jerry Mayfield has come onto the free. He's 18th quickest for 46 seconds dead. In fact, he's go down to 19th place. Doesn't improve on his time. Ricky Rudd, 8th quickest. Jimmy Johnson is 16th at the minute. Terry Labonte, though, 3rd fastest. 45.566, which is just a couple of tenths slower than Rusty Wallace's time. But Robbie Gordon will improve now because he does have some help. Carl Edwards, who is really impressive in the Bud Shootout. They're going to be like side by side there. Here's a nice gaggle of cars here. Mark Martin, Jerry Robertson, Mike Wallace, Ryan Newman, and Matt Kenseth in the 17 DeWalt. Mark Martin's 22nd. Jerry Robertson's 26th. Ryan Newman, Rocket Man, is 2nd. And that is why Matt Kenseth is the fastest man. 45.327. Only 24 thousandths of a second slower than Rusty Wallace's time in practice one. Does it improve? No, he's 4 tenths slower. 45.776 for him. Mike Wallace, though, is 5th quickest. 45.419. Like I says, the ideal thing to get into a pack, so then you'll be faster, you'll be wobbling there. Because don't forget, what it is now is that your fastest practice time and your qualifying times will be set as an average. And if your times are quite high up in the averages and all that, then the chances of you making a Daytona 500, if you don't finish in the top 15 in the Gatorade Duel races, your chances of that, thanks to your averages time being quite good, would make you be in the Daytona 500. Michael Waltrip, the slowest time, 46.499. Kyle Petty had the slowest time in practice one, and he did a 46.534. So he is just slightly quicker than Kyle Petty. But it's not helping when you're racing against someone that's side by side. They want a pack of cars there. Mark Martin's into the pits. He's 26th, as well as Robbie Gordon. He's 17th. Now we look at Hermie Sadler, 20th place in the purple and yellow car. as we've just passed 7 minutes to go. So we're into the second half of this practice session. Jimmy Montgomery, 12th quickest. Kevin LePage now down to 13th now. Guys have been going a lot more quicker. Let's see what Sterling Marlin can do then. He's going to have such a great run on Hermie Sadler. He's going to go on the inside there. We'll just keep an eye out on this there, because this could be a good lap time for Sterling. I think Kevin LePage just slightly moved out of the way there because he saw that Marlin was coming. And let's see what he can do. 45.557 puts him 11th place. Scott Riggs comes out onto the track. He is 21st fastest for him. And there's Derek Cope, 4th fastest, 45.409. Now, Mike Skinner is 6th quickest. Chad Chaffin is 17th fastest, 45.676. I'm actually trying to see what Martin Truex's time is. 45.565. He is 12th fastest overall in this practice session alone. As Jeremy Mayfield. Oh, Stanton Barrett there was trying to get a draft off of Mayfield, but opted out of it. And he may have actually just lost the draft, actually, on the two guys ahead. Here comes Scott Riggs. And he's going to have Johnny Sauter behind him, battling with Ricky Rudd and Jimmy Johnson. As Robbie Gordon comes out to do another timed run. There's Carl Edwards, battling still with Teddy Labonte. Jerry Robertson now is 7th quickest. 45.516 for the Furniture Row Chevrolet. Good job there from Jerry. Mike Wallace is 5th fastest. Brian Newman 2nd fastest. And still Matt Kensliff, the fastest man in practice 2. Jeff Burton, 3rd quickest. Still battling with Brian Vickers, who is 24th fastest. Mark Martin is all by himself, so he's not going to gain any speed. Still Shepard and Waltrip side by side. But they are going to be hunted down by this tandem. Teammates working together, the 42 and the 40, and Kevin LePage in the 37. So these two cars here that are battling, they are slowly going to get caught up with these. So hopefully we might see Morgan's time improve and Michael Waltrip's time improve. They've got time. We've got 4 minutes to go. And now Kevin just falls into line. Chad Chaffin then, 17th quickest for him. Here comes Mike Skinner with a good run off of 4. Does his time improve from a 45.473? No, it doesn't. It is a 45.743. Stanton Barrett now goes 10th quickest, 45.518 for the 92 machine. Getting some lot of surprises, actually. Derek Cope's up there. We've seen Chad Chaffin's name up previously in the top 10. Now we've got Stanton Barrett's name in 10th place. What about Mr. Excitement himself? He's 9th quickest, 45.517 for the Dodge. Now, where is Jeremy Mayfield, who was 2nd place in the Bud Shootout a couple of days ago? He is 7th quickest, 45.508. What about Mike Bliss? Mike Bliss is 11th fastest. Does his time improve? No, he doesn't. He's just slower by 7 hundredths of a second. As we've got less than 3 minutes to go. Jimmy Johnson now has got a bit of drafting help. So hopefully his time will improve from quite a poor 19th fastest. Scott Riggs, 23rd. Going to get a good run. Robbie Gordon, Terry Labonte, and Carl Edwards now going 3 wide. Robbie Gordon 22nd quickest, Terry Labonte 14th, Carl Edwards is 21st. Don't forget, all these times will mix up with the first practice times, and it will determine the qualifying order for the like I said, for the qualifying. So whoever has the slowest lap time out of the 2 practice sessions between, well, the 56 cars that attempted to qualify for this great American race, the guy who was the slowest of them all will qualify out first, and then whoever was 2nd slowest will be 2nd out, all the way up until whoever was the fastest will go out last. Matt Kenseth's time's not improving, neither is Ryan Newman. Jimmy Spencer's into the pit lane to put some new fresh tyres in. Not going to have a lot of time left there. There's about nearly 90 seconds to go. Mark Martin's still by himself. And again, Michael Waltrip and Morgan Shepherd are still battling side by side, but they are getting hunted down by Sterling Marlin, who has improved this time to 11th place, 45.519 for the veteran, back-to-back Daytona 500 champion. Then Jeremy McMurray, his time has also improved, 45.606. And Kevin LePage, he's also improved, 45.531. Now we can probably see Michael Waltrip and Morgan Shepherd hopefully improve their time, but they're going to have at least one more lap to do it. Chad Chaffin, Martin Truex Jr., Derek Cope, still 4th fastest. Mike Skinner, 6th quickest. Mike Skinner, the nearly man of getting some wins in his career. He had an exhibition race over in Japan. He actually won that race, but, you know, wasn't an actual points-paying event. Now we're coming down now to the last 30 seconds to go until the end of practice 2, and we will sort out the times. So who will be fastest overall in practice and who will be slowest? I think at the moment, though, it will be Kyle Petty with that time. He was like 1 second slow. I thought he was like half a second. Robbie Gordon's got one more lap to improve, and he's going quite quick, 199 miles an hour. Oh, he's going to slip the inside open to Carl Edwards. Does he improve? No, well, okay, whatever. 6 seconds to go. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. That is it. Practice 2 is over. And I think this is when the times will all stop. Brian Vickers and Still Helmy Sadler there side by side. Mark Martin now has the slowest time in practice 2. Jimmy McMurray, he actually improved to 8th fastest. I think I've already said that. I'm not too sure. Yeah, loads of cars. They're still driving their way. Just check to see. I left it with about 23 seconds. Oh, in fact. Yeah. Actually, we'll just pause it there. So it will hopefully pause quite soon. Jimmy McMurray just pulls off into the pits. And there we go. So that is the end of practice 2. Matt Kenseth was the fastest, 45.327, but it's not quick enough to beat Rusty Wallace's time. So Rusty will come out last in the qualifying for the 2-lap shootout for every one of them. So yeah, Ryan Kenseth is the fastest in practice 2, but not the fastest overall. Ryan Newman is 2nd, followed by Jeff Burton, Derek Cope in 4th, Mike Wallace, Mike Skinner, and Kevin LePage in 7th. That's a great time for him. That could boost his chances to making it into the big dance come Sunday. Jamie McMurray 8th, Jeremy Mayfield 9th, Jimmy Robertson in 10th. Sorry, Jerry Robertson in 10th position, tied with Morgan Shepherd, who put on a storming hot lap right at the end there. So Morgan Shepherd there, he was like down in the 20s. He's went up to 11th, actually tied with Jerry Robertson, who was a thousandth of a second quicker than Jimmy Spencer, who was a 1,000th second quicker than Stanton Barrett, who was a 1,000th second of a second quicker than Sterling Marlin. Mike Bliss 15th, Scott Riggs, Michael Waltrip, Martin Truex, Teddy Labonte, Helmy Sadler, Sauter, Chaffin, Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, Robbie Gordon, Brian Vickers, and Mark Martin. The only time to be in the 46s. So we will just actually calculate these times, and we will come back again in a couple of seconds' time to show you how all 56 cars or drivers will start for the qualifying for, I think it's on Wednesday, I believe it is, something like that. Welcome back then. So we are just going to show you the overall practice times from the 2 practice sessions. They're the first 28 from practice 1 and the other 28 from practice 2. And our workers have been busy calculating who has got the overall fastest time. And you can clearly see Rusty Wallace has the fastest time in the practice session with a 45.303. You see the numbers there in yellow with the 55, 56, 55, and all the way down to 47. Kevin LePage. That basically means that that is the order where they're going to be out in the qualifying, which is going to be uploaded on Wednesday. So as you can see, Rusty Wallace had the fastest time. He's going to go last out in qualifying. Matt Kenseth had the second fastest time. He's going to go out second last in the qualifying. Ryan Newman was third quickest. He's going to go out third last in the qualifying. So that's the order. That's what they're going to be in. So rundown of the top 10. Rusty Wallace, Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, Jeff Burton. And look at these surprise drivers there from 5th all the way down to 10th there. Derek Cope, Mike Wallace, Stuart Kirby, who was second fastest in practice one. He's 7th overall. Bill Elliott. I mean, that's a great effort from Bill Elliott there from a badly damaged Dodge that was raced in the Bud Shootout. They've repaired it, and he's got him up to 8th place overall. Mike Skinner and Kevin LePage rounding out the top 10. Through to positions 11 and 12, and you're going to see all three of the Chip Ganassi Racing guys. Jamie McMurray leads that camp, 11th overall. Sterling Marlin, 18th, and Casey Mears right behind him in 19th. But look at that. Jeremy Mayfield, second place in the Bud Shootout, 12th fastest overall. Sets himself a good time for that. So his chance of making the field is pretty good, as well as some of the other drivers that's in this list. Jerry Robertson, 13th. Morgan Shepherd, we've seen him down in about 27th place overall in his practice session. He managed to put a lap and he's up to 14th place overall, even though he's tied with Jerry Robertson. Jimmy Spencer, Stanton Barrett, great qualifying, great practice for him. Elliott Sadler, Sterling Marlin, 6 drivers there separated by 3 1,000ths of a second. And Joe Nemechek completing the top 20, and he's going to be out 37th in the qualifying. Through to positions 21 and to 30. Mike Bliss, Scott Riggs, Michael Waltrip, the two-time Daytona 500 champion, defending Busch Series champion Martin Truex will be 24th. Terry Labonte, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Dave Blaney, Hermie Sadler, Johnny Sauter, and Randy LaJoie. Randy was 9th fastest in his first practice session, but he's 30th overall. His teammate Chad Chaffin starts the next page on 31st. 32nd, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Green, 33rd. And now separated by 2 1,000ths of a second. Ricky Rudd had his car repaired after the Bud Shootout from his big accident. But he's managed to get his Ford up into 34th place. Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson, 36th quickest for him. Not a good Daytona Speed Weeks it is for the 48 team. Tony Stewart, the winner of the Bud Shootout, 37th place. Travis Quapple, Greg Biffle, and Carl Edwards completing 39 and 40. Then you got John Andretti, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Lots of big names at the back of the pack here. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 42nd. Ken Schrader, 43rd. Robbie Gordon, 44th. Kyle Busch, the rookie, 45th. Jason Leffler, 46th. Dale Jarrett, 47th. Scott Wimmer, Boris Said, and Kevin Harvick down in 50th. We're going to have a lot of big name drivers starting early in the qualifying session. And then on the last page, Brian Vickers, Kenny Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, defending champion in the Nextel Cup Series. And there he is there, 55th fastest. So he's going to be going out second. And Kyle Petty, a full 1.2 seconds off of the fastest time set by Rusty, but he will be first out in qualifying. So there you go. That is the overall practice times. Thank you again for watching. If you're new to this, give this a like. And also, if you very kindly also give me a subscribe, that'd be very appreciative. Wednesday, we're going to be showing you the premiere of all 56 cars trying to attempt to qualify for the Daytona 500 on Sunday, as all 56 drivers are trying to determine the top 2. And that's where they're going to be guaranteed to start on Sunday. But until then, it's a goodbye for me, and we'll see you on Wednesday.